Iron Man Blue Beetle. Tony Stark, Jaime Reyes. Iron Man. He's been in like a bunch of movies. You pretty much know who he is. He's Robert Downey Jr. Rich, billionaire philanthropist who, in his free time, dons an amazing suit of armor with a whole host of armors depending on the situation, and goes and essentially fights crime. Normally it's more like global terrors and much more larger enemies. So they spend time in space. Jaime Reyes, Blue Beetle. Don't quite know who he is? Did you not watch Young Justice? It was totally about Jaime. Really interesting character. During the time of Infinite Crisis, yes, we're going way back now, there was a Blue Beetle scarab. It latched itself onto Jaime. Jaime had no idea what this scarab was. It actually is a piece of alien technology from the Reach. Don't know who the Reach are? The Reach have been around roughly like near Guardians of the Universe time. They actually were enemies. The Reach, depending on writer, is almost kind of like a locust. They want to first make it to a new world, harvest all the major resources, and go on to the next one. The Blue Beetle scarab that Jaime has is considered one of their most advanced pieces of technology. It is highly adaptive and wickedly destructive. If you watch Young Justice, you got a pretty good idea that he was considered to be one of the strongest non-Justice League members in the TV show. He actually had, I want to say he had 2 different books, both of them went to cancellation, primarily because I mentioned Infinite Crisis. Jaime was brought in after they decided to put a bullet in Ted Kord's head. People love Ted Kord. And the fact that you killed a white character to bring in a ethnic minority character tends to not make people super excited about a character, even though I'll be honest. From Young Justice, I was like, this character is awesome. That background is awesome. They did some Reach crossovers with Green Lantern. I'm like, this is awesome. I started reading some other stuff. I'm like, this is actually, it's written well. It's a decent character. And he's ridiculously powerful, but he's still a young kid. Now I do these fights through a 9 criteria system. If it ends up being, like 5-4, person with 5, more than likely is going to win, but you can still make the case the person with 4, can get the victory as well. 6-3, 7-2, well, that's like 1 or 2, 7-2, 8-1. 8-1 is just a flat out curb stomp. I use intelligence, fighting ability, strength, speed, durability, invulnerability, energy rejection, versatility, X factor. Greatness, intelligence. I've got a billionaire inventor versus a high school kid. It's going to Tony. Now, before people throw up, but they both have, Iron Man has Jarvis, where Blue Beetle's going to have, I want to say it's a direct telepathic link with the Reach. So his suit is ridiculously powerful and very, very intelligent. So it's kind of like he's living inside a computer. I don't like to use those outside influences. I want it to be, it's Tony, it's Jaime. It's not Tony plus tech versus Jaime plus tech. Fighting ability. Again, Blue Beetle's Reach suit will give him some sort of adaptive edges when it comes to combat, but the person inside the suit isn't very gifted when it comes to fighting. Iron Man spent some time with Captain America, so he actually knows a decent amount about fighting. He actually is a greater fighter than Jaime. Strength. This was a weird one. When it comes to what the Blue Beetle suits allow him to do, he can throw cars. Really doesn't in its normal mode. It does have, I think, three different optional modes for depending on what it needs to be, but normally it doesn't tend to have a level of super strength. Where you tend to see a level of super strength when it comes to Iron Man's armor. So now we're into speed. Iron Man, decent amount of speed, reaches sublight. So reaches the Blue Beetle is very, very close to light speed. Actually can escape Earth orbit if you really wanted to, and do it very easily. Can enter a deep space if you wanted to. But normally actually has a speed that puts it pretty close to sublight, which is very, very quick. Could Tony have a suit that puts him near light speed? Yes. But it's more of a specialized suit. Tony has a lot of suits because depending on who he's taking on, He wants to have things that match the strengths of the person he's taking on, but knowing certain of the deficiencies. That's why he has a Hulkbuster suit, which is designed to look kind of like Juggernaut, taking a tremendous amount of physical abuse. He wouldn't want to use it against Spider-Man because it would be too large and too bulky. Now we're looking at durability. Iron Man suits do have some recuperative abilities, however he's taking on the Reach technology, which actually allows him to regrow a heart while he was in the suit. So it actually has regenerative abilities. Very impressive. Invulnerability. This is how well can they take a hit. I'm going to give this one to the Blue Beetle suit. Here's where some of the super adaptability comes in. As the fight is progressing, that suit's going to get smarter and be like, oh, he's doing this. We'll react by doing this. So a tremendous amount of force field uses. The wings that he occasionally uses when he needs to do it, just basic flying, also double as shields. So multiple levels of energy shielding. Plus, the suit is going to be constantly adapting to whatever Tony's throwing at him. So it's going to have a tremendous amount when it comes to just soaking up damage. Energy projection. This is the raw amount of damage you can toss out. I'm giving this one to Blue Beetle. Now, 4 people ago, but Iron Man can throw out a tremendous amount of abilities and tremendous damage at distance. Jaime has gone on record as saying, he asked the suit, he's like, okay, I need to take out a pretty big guy. It was essentially the Spectre. And the suit was throwing out essentially weapon of mass destruction level abilities. So we could do this. I don't want to do that. We can do this. I don't want to do that. So it's a unit that's designed to be able to help pacify any sort of invading forces. Well, actually, it's an invading force to destroy any sort of defending forces on a planet. Ridiculously powerful. Versatility. Again, I'm going to go with Blue Beetle. Again, while facing the Spectre. He was like, well, I want to do a non-lethal on the Spectre. Spectre. Way top tier in the DC universe. And ironically, the suit has ways of dealing with almost anybody. Again, super adaptability to it. It's going to have almost anything that you want to think about when it comes to reacting to an individual. When facing a Kryptonian, it actually produced kryptonite. So this suit is going to constantly be feeding him more and more information about how to defeat who he's taking on. So it's going to read, okay, it's a guy in a suit, okay. I think he has a heart condition, okay. Looks like his suit uses the following technology. And then we'll probably find out, okay, here's how you can do a different variation of an EMP that'll short out his circuits. So that suit is ridiculously powerful. Now I come down to X Factor. You can actually have the X Factor to Tony. And it's still 5-4, so I do think Blue Beetle more often than not is going to defeat Tony Stark Iron Man. Who will give Iron Man the edge? He's going to have a lot more experience. And he has experience too when it comes to the alien technology. Well, the problem is, as he's trying to hack the Reach is going to be constantly adapting to the hack. So he's going to have to try to hack it pretty quick, which is going to be difficult for him to do. He's going to need to hack in the middle of a fight against an opponent that's going to be vastly superior. But he has enough intellect and he knows enough, has enough experience that he might actually be able to squeak something out past him. And the moment something happens to Jaime's armor, this fight's done. Just like it happens to Tony's armor, this fight's pretty much done. So I do think more often than not, Blue Beetle he's pretty much wrapped up in almost like a Deus Ex Machina power cosmic. That is just ridiculously powerful. It's too bad that when they introduced him, they killed off a more beloved character, which kind of tainted his initial origin.